Let's look at a solution to your problem. Your problem is, what's the value of 1/6 plus 3/4? Before we get to the answer, let's talk a little about fractions. A fraction is made up of a numerator and a denominator. The numerator sits above the line, the denominator is below the line. The numerator specifies the number of equal parts. The denominator specifies the size of those equal parts into which the number line has been divided. For example, in the fraction 3/4, we have 3 pieces, which are in the numerator, of a number line that has been divided into sections that are 1/4 of a unit long, and that 1/4, or the 4, is in the denominator. 3/4 can be read as 3/4 or 3 divided by 4. A graphic representation of 3/4 on the number line would look like this. You can see in red we've got a number line and we're looking at the distance between 0 and 1. We've broken that distance up into 4 equal parts, and in orange we've represented what 3/4 would look like. Now let's talk about adding fractions. The first rule of addition of fractions, addition of anything, any sorts of numbers, would be that you can only add like quantities. So we could add 3 apples and 2 apples and get 5 apples, but we wouldn't talk about adding 3 apples and 2 oranges. So similarly in fractions, we want to be adding equal pieces. So we can add 3/7 and 2/7, and we'd be able to get 5/7. As long as the denominators are equal, we're talking about sections of equal length. To add fractions with different denominators, the denominators must be converted to the same denominator. So in your problem, 1/6 plus 3/4, we see the denominators are not alike, and so we've got to make those denominators to be the same number. The easiest way to make the two denominators the same number is to multiply each denominator by the other fraction's denominator. To avoid changing the value of the fraction, you also have to multiply the numerator by that value. That way we're cleverly just multiplying the fraction by 1. We won't be changing its value. In this case, 1/6 would equal 1/6 times 1, which would equal 1/6 times 4 divided by 4, which is another way of writing 1, and as we multiply across we'd get 4/24. We do the same thing with 3/4. It equals 3/4 times 1. That's 3/4, and again we cleverly write it as 6 divided by 6, and that would be 18/24. The completed work would look like 1/6 plus 3/4. The 1/6 we've already converted to 4/24. The 3/4 we see as 18/24. Now we can add the numerators together, and we'd get 22/24, which we can reduce to 11/12, the answer to your problem. Let's look at it again graphically. What would be the value of 1/6 plus 3/4? Well, we know 1/6 could be represented on the number line as the distance between 0 and 1 once we've broken it up into 6 equal pieces and choosing just one of those pieces. So that blue shaded area would be 1/6. Now let's see how we would graphically represent 3/4. We take again the number line between 0 and 1, we break it into 4 equal pieces, and we'd use 3 of those pieces, here represented in orange, to show us what 3/4 would look like. Now, using our trick to try and get them into equal number of pieces, we'll take the 4 in the denominator 3/4 and use that to break up each one of those pieces on the 1/6 line into 4 pieces inside those 6 pieces. That'll give us 24 pieces, 4 of which were the ones that were painted in blue in 1/6. Doing the same thing with 3/4, but this time breaking each one of those sections of 4, each one of the fourths, into 6 equal pieces. And when we do this, again, we've got a line broken into 24 equal pieces, where 18 of those represent the 3/4. Moving those together into a separate number line, we see again of those 24 pieces, now we can simply add them, and we get 22 pieces. So again, 1/6 plus 3/4 is the same as adding 4 24ths plus 18 24ths. Now, since they're the same quantity, they're both 24ths, we say 22 24ths, and that we can reduce to 11 12ths, which is the answer to this problem.